Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Career Happy Hour. We are so glad for you to be joining with us another week. And all of our loyal viewers that are tuning in week after week, we are so thankful for you. We're going to kick this started with a little bit of music while we jam and let people get the alert that we have started live, and we will be with you here in just a little bit. Enjoy. All right. Were you enjoying that music as much as I was? You know, I enjoy my music, and especially on Hump Day, Wind Down Wednesday. Like, I love me some Wednesdays, because you know we are halfway through the week and we are that much closer to the weekend. But you know, for some of us entrepreneurs, the weekend don't really matter as much because we still working and grinding on the weekend. So really appreciate those that are tuning in. And remember, as you come on in, drop in your name, where are you tuning in from, and also what are you sipping on? It's happy hour, so we want you to be having a glass in your hand so that we can all do some cheers to your amazing careers here on Career Happy Hour. For those of you who do not know, I am Lashina Recruitalina, your six-figure career brand coach. I am absolutely obsessed with your success. That's why I show up every week, because I am obsessed with you being successful. And the guest co-hosts that I cherry pick, like I hand pick these guest co-hosts that we have every week because of the value that they bring, because of the story and their career story that is hopefully a testimony to someone else to say, you know what, if they did it, I can do it too, because we are a community here to inspire and to motivate each other so that we can normalize earning six figures. And you know what I say? Six figures is not what some people think is just $100,000. I don't know where we got that from. Like, why is it that people thought that six figures stops at $100,000? Because it's not normalized. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to normalize that six figures is up to $999,999, one digit shy of $1 million. And that's where we want our community to be. And for those who are already here, to keep on leveling up. And for those who are not there yet, we want to grab you by the hand and help you along by giving you these tips and these nuggets so that you can apply it within your career and that you can continue to level up. Can you tell I am excited tonight? Oh my goodness. The energy is just balling up with fire because this guest co-host that I have with me sharing the virtual stage tonight, I'm telling you, you cannot sleep. You got to be awake. You've got to listen to every word and morsel that he is sharing with us tonight. So let me go ahead and bring to the stage, without further ado, let me bring his bio up first, and then you got to wait just a little bit longer. So our guest co-host tonight is Ray Abram, who is an author, speaker, and workshop creator. After many years in business, Ray decided to take his learnings about networking to sales organizations around the world. Ray's message comes from his realization that everyone has heard the term, they've heard the term know, like, and trust. However, no one ever tells you how to actually do it. We're all taught from childhood that people either like you and trust you or they don't. So we just focus on the no part of the phrase and let the cards fall where they may. Ray wants to change this misconception and has dedicated his career to doing just that. Known as the connection coach, he provides audiences worldwide with interesting and thought-provoking ideas around new ways to define and build your network quickly and efficiently. Ray earned his BA in speech communications from Hampton University in Virginia and is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs and sales professionals. He is the author of the best-selling Connect Like a Boss, and he hails from the Tidewater area of Virginia and currently lives in Atlanta, Georgia with his wife and 3 sons. Let's welcome to the virtual stage, the one, the only, the networking king, connection coach, all of that.
Wow.
Ray Abram.
Thanks so much, Lashina. It is a pleasure and honor to be here at the Career Happy Hour. Wow.
Yes. And since we, doing it happy hour style, part of the tradition is to share. What are you sipping on, my friend?
Oh, just a little Coke. I put a little Maker's mark in there, just a sip of Maker's. But yeah, little Maker's and Coke makes the evening go just right. I was trying to find something to rhyme with Coke, but I don't think anything does.
I'm sure there are some words that we can come up with, but we'll come back around if maybe the audience can give us some suggestions on some things that rhyme with Coke, because that sounds so like chill and relaxing. Yeah. Oh yes, that's perfect for Wind Down Wednesday.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Man, Ray, it has been such an amazing journey to be able to get to this point, because we have come to know each other through networking.
Yes.
And the topic of our show tonight is networking is more than exchanging business cards. So we are living proof of what can happen, just a small tidbit of what can happen when you network.
That's right.
Right?
No, like this, absolutely right.
This is crazy. People would have never known that we didn't even know each other, 3 months ago?
3 months ago, not at all. And it's amazing how just building a relationship can bring so many opportunities to your life. People that you wouldn't think you would, never even meet, or opportunities that you never would have come out of just meeting people and networking. And so my life has been so blessed with this skill, and that's why I want to share it with other people so they can be blessed as well.
Oh, wow. That is, it sounds like it's your gift, and our gift comes in so many different forms. And once you find that gift that is inside of you,
ooh, that's amazing. Yes.
It's almost like this burden that's lifted off of your shoulders. Wouldn't you say?
I agree 1,000,000%. I mean, that's part of life, right? I mean, that's really, in my opinion, the purpose of life is to discover your gift and how you can use it to help mankind. And and for the folks who have discovered it, and are using it for good, that's as good as it gets.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
But would you say that you always knew that this is what your purpose would be? Like when you were a teenager, and the whole question you always get as a teenager, what do you want to be when you grow up, Ray?
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, it certainly wasn't this. I think I think as a younger person, I always thought I would be a lawyer. I was kind of one of lawyer politician is really where I was kind of headed. Or business at first was, I think, just kind of general business, and then when I got to college, I realized that there was levels, and I found out I was good at speaking, and I said, well, maybe I'll be a lawyer or a politician, but I never imagined this.
Wow. Yeah, that goes with being a good speaker. Yeah, for sure, as a lawyer. And did you do clubs to help you with your speaking, or did that just come naturally too?
I did a little bit of it recently, but that was more later in life. I mean, I was actually a speech communications major. So part of my major was in college was making speeches and learning how to write speeches and delivering them. And so I had to be in front of a crowd many times. Plus I ran for various offices and things like that. So I was very involved in public speaking for most of my life.
And then when you completed your degree, or went through your degree curriculum for communications, where did you land as far as from a career perspective? Like, where did you get started?
Okay, yeah, my first job out of college was at Pepsi Cola. I was a sales rep at Pepsi, and so I did that for a couple of years. But then got into the music business.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of an odd transition. I know. But a good friend of mine in college started a group called CNC Music Factory, and they had a hit record, and so I said, well, wow, I want to do that. That looks like a lot of fun. I actually went to go visit them at some point, and they sold 6 million albums, and was traveling the world. I was like, man, how can I do this? And so so I ended up working with him, and then kind of having a career in entertainment for probably about 10 years, and did that until the record business kind of collapsed because of the internet. So
yeah. I wouldn't have ever thought that. Yes.
No. Most people wouldn't. I'm not your typical or atypical music business person, but I love music and entertainment, and to have an opportunity to be involved in it and actually meet, be backstage and have conversations with these folks that I idolized when I was growing up was really a interesting thing.
Wow. And then is that when you went to your 9 to 5?
I had a 9 to 5 with various. I worked with Sony Music and with Polygram is when I did that. But then after that, I got into the .com space and became more of an entrepreneur for a while, but landed back at corporate doing corporate IT, and so that's where I am today.
Oh, okay. We have Siobhan that's tuning in, and she says, that's not odd at all. You're following your passion. Good for you. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what I do.
And I think because a lot of times people do feel as if we're one-dimensional. And I truly believe that all of us, well, not all of us, some of us are multidimensional more than others.
Should be,
and we can have these parallel lanes that we're traveling on that sometimes don't seem like they connect, but they really do when you get to the heart of the skills and the talent. Wouldn't you agree? Like, because sometimes people think that we're crazy when we have multiple careers going on.
Oh, no, absolutely. And it's interesting that I actually listened to a guy named John DeMartini. Brilliant guy. And he gave me some game that I didn't understand until recently. And unfortunately, I didn't get this until probably 6 months ago. But he talked about your values, your core values. And as you look back on your life, it will define your core values. And it's like a roadmap. When you look at the things you've done in your life, the careers you've had, the relationships you've had, the friendships, you'll be able to say, this is why I did these. Because everything you do in your life is because of a value that you hold. And the exercise he gives you is to say, pick one value. If you say one thing there's one value, there's one thing that is your priority, that no matter what, you have to have this in your life. And it can be security, it can be privacy, it can be freedom, it can be intimacy, it can be love, whatever this one word is. Every decision you've made in your life is because of that word. And it blew me away when he said that. I said, wow. And as I look back on my life, I see the path, and everything I've done is because of this word.
Wow, that is so powerful. And I hope that everyone is able to pick up on what you shared there. And I almost think of it as two things. One is being able to understand that value. What is that value for yourself? And that does take some self-reflection.
Yeah.
But the other part of that is that sometimes people speak life into us that we're not yet ready to understand. But if we keep on that journey, keep on keeping on, being consistent.
Yes.
You hear me? You understand?
Yeah, no, you have to continue on your path, and you have to understand that everybody's path is unique. Sometimes we look at people, it's like a river, right? Where our lives are like a river. And sometimes you look at the people in the boat that's ahead of you and say, well, I want to be in that boat. Right? But you can't. Just stay in your boat. You'll get there if that's your destiny. Just stay in your boat. It's more important to be happy in your boat than to get to that other person's boat. Because so often you think that if I just can get into that boat, then I'll be happy. Right? And you get out of your boat and you realize, man, I'm in this next boat and I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
So once you understand that happiness is something you generate yourself, this is something I tell folks, is that nothing outside of your body can change the way you feel inside. Right? It's kind of like if you've ever been hungry, we all have, right? You ever just been like starving and you get a bologna sandwich and you tape it to your arm? That's not going to stop you from being hungry. That's the same thing as thinking that hole inside, whatever is missing, that's something outside of your body. Anything, money, relationships, a house, a new car, nothing you get that's outside of your body is going to change the way you feel inside of your body sustainably. You may change the way you feel for a day, maybe a few days, but after 3 or 4 days, you go back to who you were and how you felt before you got that thing. So what you have to do to find happiness and peace and joy is change how you feel inside. And then when you get those things, you can be happy. You're still happy because now you've changed how you felt inside. It's not dependent on trying to fill a hole with something outside.
Oh my goodness, that is so powerful, Ray. Siobhan makes the comment. She says that's a word right there. Be happy in your own boat.
Yes.
But what I'm cracking up about is that you brought out a bologna sandwich. Wow, you brought out the bologna.
Yes. Bologna is key to life. A bologna
You
and cheese
cannot sleep on the bologna.
You
The
can't
bologna
sleep
sandwich.
on a bologna sandwich. You
Or the
never
slits. You put the
outgrow.
slits in it, or you just let it bubble up.
Yeah, well, sometimes I just have it cold, man. You can cut it, you slice it,
Oh,
but just cold bologna with a slice of cheese, wrap the plastic individual wrap cheese with a little mayo, two slices of bread. I'm telling you what, it just brings back so much happiness from your child.
you're right. You're right. We definitely we grew up on those bologna
You
sandwiches.
grew up on it. Sometimes it's so funny because as you get older, you think you've outgrown things, but then you have that thing you haven't had since you were 12, and it's like, oh my God, you have a bomb pop, at 40. It's like, oh my God, this is freaking delicious. Why don't I do this every day? I can afford it now. So
Right. Yeah, I think your analogy is just so on point and so aligns with the theme of our show, right? And the audience, because our audience is for those who are high frequency,
yeah.
ambitious entrepreneurs and career professionals. And I put an emphasis on high frequency because that's where that level of gratitude comes in that you were talking about. That no matter where you are, by feeling thankful, grateful for the place that you're in, even in the worst of situations, you can always find something to be thankful for. It levels up your vibrations to receive more. And sometimes that's hard. Believe me, it's hard. But if you can find it, it's almost like planting a seed that then will continue to grow and produce fruits.
Yes. Yes. I got some game from this guy named Eckhart Tolle, who shared about taking a vacation, right? So sometimes you feel so stressed out, like I need a vacation. Vacations only give yourself permission to enjoy where you are when you're on vacation. Right? The place you are doesn't change again how you feel, right? You think, well, if I can just be on the ocean, I can be on this, if I could just be in the sand, if I can just be in a hotel, I will feel great. And you do. But you know why? It's not because of the ocean or the sand. People live on the ocean, right? Who
Yes.
are who hate it, right? Who who spend their
Stressed out.
lives stressed out trying to get away from the ocean, right? Millions of people live on the ocean trying to get away from it because to them it means, poverty and a bad time, and there's no opportunities outside of working, being a maid or working in hospitality, and so it's not the environment, it's you give yourself permission to enjoy yourself. But this is the secret. You can give yourself permission to enjoy yourself every day.
Mm. And that's where that gratitude comes from.
Hey, right where you are today. If you actually you can live in a house for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and never notice things,
Mhm.
right? Never notice things, because when you go to a new place, you notice everything. Wow, that's great. That's beautiful. Oh my God, look at the, you know, and the reality is you can do that right where you are, right? Because the way our brains filter out 90% of our environment, you filter it out.
Mhm.
You take it for granted. But to your point about gratitude is when you are grateful for what you have, you will notice things. And if you ever just stop and just breathe and just look around where you are, I guarantee you right now, you can look around the room you're in, even if you've been living there for 10 years, and you can see something beautiful that you
Mhm.
never noticed before. The beauty in the bed frame, the beauty in that picture that you've had hanging over your fireplace for 10 years. And there's beauty there. And once you get that, you can refresh yourself every day.
Yes. And then and once you find that beauty, take notice in the way that your body feels differently. It
Yes.
vibrates in a different way when
Yes.
you feel it. And that's
Yes.
that same feeling that we have to carry over into, basically creating our future. Like whatever we want to create and visualize, we have to have that same feeling that it is manifested. And I
Yeah.
know, some of our audience members are saying like, hey, Lashina and Ray, you said you're talking about networking, but you know how we do around here. We have to pull out some of that story, that career story, as I call it, to get to the present moment and beyond. But what we're talking about right now, in my opinion, it's the foundation of networking.
It's foundation. Just like you said in your introduction, networking is not just exchanging business cards, right? It's getting someone to know, like, and trust you, right? To be in your network. However, no one can know, like, and trust you more than you know, like, and trust yourself. So networking starts with you. You're the hub of the wheel. Right? A wheel can't exist or can't roll very far without a hub. The hub has to be strong. That hub has to have intention. And so if your hub isn't right, if you don't trust yourself, right, if you don't like yourself, it's hard to convince someone else to like you. And the purpose of a network is to have people help you, to have a support team, a group of people who are supporting you, who buy what you sell, who are further friends and family, who give you information and invest in you, right? That's a network. But that network is not going to be functional if you don't have yourself right, right? If that hub, if you imagine a wheel without a hub, it's not going to roll. It's not going to support the vehicle. And so you are the hub. And so before you go out and try networking willy-nilly, you have to do some time with introspection, right? So that we talk about gratitude and empathy. We talk about generosity. We talk about, being authentic. Those are the keys to your hub. And once you have those pieces in place, now you can expand your influence to others, and they can expand their influence back to you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you.
Yeah, I love that visual. I'm a visual learner, so I love the analogies of the boat and now the hub. That's it just really helps you to connect with it. And one of the things that I think about with networking in general is that as a recruiter and being in that profession, a lot of times people come to me thinking that they're networking, but they're really just trying to use me. I say that very loosely. Use me for the purpose of what they need at that moment, but they call it networking. And then the other side of it is in my coaching business. I have people who say, they're in job search mode, they're looking for another job, and they're like, I don't even know how to network. Like, I just it makes you cringe even thinking about you want me to network, like, ooh.
Yeah.
So share with us, what is your one-on-one foundation. You've laid it down a little bit, be able to get
Yes.
perspective. But what would you say to those people who are like, you know what, networking is hard. Like, I don't know how to do this thing.
It's not hard. It's you haven't been taught. It's like any sport or any skill. It's like cooking, right? Cooking is hard, right? I mean, it's hard. If nobody ever sits down and shows you how to cook, right? If somebody says cooking is simply throw some meat in the pan and turn the heat on, that's what cooking is, right? However, your meat is going to be burnt or undercooked if nobody gives you the science behind it, the details behind it. And the same thing with networking is people tell you what networking is: go to a networking event with a handful of business cards. And if you hand out enough business cards and you get enough of other people's business cards, you're going to be successful. But nothing's further from the truth. And what happens is most people get very frustrated because they go to the networking events with a handful of business cards and they get a handful of business cards from other people, and nothing ever happens. Nobody ever calls them with that job. Nobody ever calls them with that business opportunity, right? And when they call the people, quite often they don't answer, or realistically, most people have this box of business cards that they gather, so they never call. So networking is a skill set that's not so much about exchanging business cards. It's not so much about selling. It's about building relationships. It's about building relationships. So it's about meeting somebody and you think to yourself, this is a good person to add to my network. Let's be friends. And so instead of thinking of networking as I have to sell this person, or to your point, Lashina, where I need to use this person to get what I want, think about it as this is going to be a good person to be in my network. Let me be friends with this person, and maybe something will come out of it. Because if you think about it, if you have enough friends who are, in a position where they can hire you, or, they're in a position where they can buy your service or your product, or they can give you information or resources that you need, why not have those friends in your life? So often we have our friends that we've had for years and years and years, and they're cool. They're great people to talk to. However, they either can't or won't do anything to really help us in our journey and reach our goals, because we've set our goals. This is where I want to be, but I'm surrounded by people who can't help me get there. How about make some friends or add some people to your network who can help you get there, right? And so if I was friends with a recruiter and we're best friends, right? There's nothing wrong with that recruiter saying, hey, I have an opening for someone who does exactly what you do. Why don't you come on? And you're like, well, here's my resume. Man, if you don't put that resume out of my face, you come on here and start Monday, right? Why don't you have friends like that? Have friends who can, if you're looking for a job, have friends who can hire you. And I know that's such a foreign concept to people. People think I shouldn't have friends because that's using people. However, your friends, we're social creatures, right? And so we all provide value to each other. It's not about using or not using. It's about there's a mutual exchange of benefit, right? So it's not using somebody if that person that is helping you also knows that when they need help, they can come to you for what they need, right? So it's about providing mutual benefit and friends that you can benefit and who can benefit you and what you're doing.
Woo, the power in that. Those two words are so powerful. Mutual benefit.
Yes.
And I call it in my world servant leadership. And I'm sorry, servant networking that is similar to servant leadership. Because when you're a servant leader, you're there to give, and then that there's a mutual benefit there. The same thing with networking. If you think of networking as you giving, And then if there's some return that comes to it, then that's great. And it's an investment. It may not come immediately when you want it, but you're investing in it so that maybe in the future, then it can happen. And one of the things that I try to do in my conversations, especially if I'm looking and I need something and I reach out to my network, I'll ask after, I've had, we've talked about what I need. It's like, then I'll turn it around and say, what can I help you with?
Right.
Ooh.
Right. That is so powerful. What can I help you with?
And maybe it takes people off guard because they're not used to it.
Right. They're not. And they don't even know how to respond. I don't know. I don't know how you can help me today, but it's great to know that, because, and this is what I say, is that what you demonstrated is a generous spirit. People like people who have generous spirits, right? And so it's not about money, it's about, what can I do? Is it some time I can offer you? Is it my talent? Maybe it is money, but it's something I can offer you that you need to make your life better, make your life easier. And if I can do that for you, then I'm making a deposit. Stephen Covey talks about the relationship bank account, and this really resonated with me. Every time you do a kindness for someone, you're making a deposit into your relationship bank account, just like you would if you think about Bank of America or Wachovia. You make a deposit into the account, because then when you need a favor, when you have to ask for something, you're making a withdrawal. Now, what happens at Bank of America when you try to make a withdrawal before you make a deposit? They tell you no. And that's what happens in our relationships. When someone is always asking for favors, they're asking for referrals, asking for, can you take my, push my resume to your manager, right? That's an ask. And internally, you ask yourself, well, what has this person done for me ever, right? Or do I believe, and even if they haven't had a chance to do something for you, it's like credit, right? Do I believe this person's going to pay me back? So it's a relationship bank account that, when you think about that, it gives you that permission to make deposits with everybody, do nice things for people. Because every time you do, you're making a deposit, because one day you may need to make a withdrawal. And that's just the way the world works.
That is, again, a great analogy that we all can relate to, because we all have bank accounts.
All have bank accounts.
We're making those deposits and those withdrawals. You make too many withdrawals and not enough deposits, you're going to get in the red and the negative.
And that's what happens with relationships, right? And we all have that person in our lives, or had that person in our lives, who always, the only time you see them, the only time they call you is when they need something. Do we have that person?
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Yes. And one of the things that and some of it is, we're working with people. People have emotions. They can get in their feelings sometimes. We all can do that. And one of the things that I try to do, even when I want something from someone, or I want some information, or to ask something, one of the things I'll try to do is to step back, especially if I haven't talked to them in a while. I'll step back and reach out and just say, hello, how are you doing? Without the ask. Because I think sometimes people are so quick to say, what they need, that they'll say it like in the introduction. And it's like, wait, I haven't talked to you in years. But you're going to come to me with an ask. Like, first, like, not rebuild, but reconnect, like the connection coach. Reconnect.
Yes, connect. It's about reconnecting. Yes. And that's the biggest mistake. I see it a lot, particularly with the the MLM world, right? The network marketing world, where you get this list of people you got to call, and I know I'm on everybody's list, right? So that's how I know, right? And I haven't talked to these people in 10 years, and hey, Ray, how you doing? And I'm waiting for it, right? I'm doing good. How you doing? Hey, man, you want to make a little extra money? I'm in this group that's doing big things, and they're really burning up America, man. You need to get on board. Why don't you come to my house or jump on a Zoom call next Thursday, 8:00? Like, no, because we haven't had that connection. And so, getting the connections is, I think Harvey McKay said, dig your tunnel, dig your well before you need water.
Mm.
Dig your well before you need some water. And that is key. And that's the same thing with relationships, is, being proactive, identifying the type of people you want to have relationships with.
Yeah.
And then making relationships with them, as opposed to when you need something, now you're scrambling. Like, for instance, people, and I'm sure, Lashina, you can relate, when people get laid off, right? How many calls do you get from somebody's like, man, I just lost my job. I just lost my job today. You got anything? Now, you only hear from them when they get laid off.
Right? That's why I have a whole program right now, because of that.
Right. It happens, as opposed to someone who has built a relationship. They've invited you to some stuff. We've all gone out. We've hung out. We've done some stuff. Right. And then now you're probably even more proactive, because you need people to work. Right. So you're probably like, hey, man, when you're going to quit that job, you come over here, so, right. So it becomes, because you guys, to your point, there's mutual benefit, right? Mm-hmm. That person can provide. Maybe it's only a good time. We have people in our lives that we are in our lives simply because they make us smile.
Yeah.
There are people in our lives that we know that when we hang out with them, we're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
And that's a benefit. And whatever it is that you're providing, do that, but don't wait until you need something to call somebody.
Absolutely. And we're not saying that if you need something, don't reach out, but just reach out first to reconnect those fibers of that connection, so that it doesn't feel it'll actually make you feel better that you're not using someone, and it makes the other person feel better that they're not feeling as if they're being used. So it's mutually beneficial.
Yes. And if I can share one takeaway, if you don't take anything else away, right? When you identify the type of people you have in your need to have in your life, good people, progressive people, and make friends with them, build relationships with them. The challenge most of us have, the reason most of us, aren't successful, don't reach our potential, is because we talk to the same 5 or 6 people every day. And that's it. We limit ourselves. If you look at your phone book, you'll see the same people called over and over and over again. Nothing wrong with having close friends, your close circle. However, expand that, but identify and say, Lashina should be on my list. I want to make sure I keep in touch with her. I'm going to email her or call her or post to her social media comments, regularly. And identify those people. And, the studies have shown you can have up to 150 friends, close friends, people that you would invite to your birthday party, people that you would love to hang out with. So identify, dozens of people that are good people that may be able to help you in the future, and become good friends with them, so that they would never think about recommending somebody for a job except for you, right? That they would never think about not passing your resume on to somebody if you ask them, or doing a favor for you if you asked, right? You can have 150 people who would grant you a favor simply because it was you asking. And if you have that, your life will change 180 degrees.
That is a mic drop moment.
Yeah.
You drop the mic on that. If you don't take anything else from this, make sure that you do that. And people are wondering, like, how in the world can they even do that? But that's why the connection coach is here, because he can definitely help you put all of those things together. But before we even go into that part of it, because, of course, the ticker is at the bottom. So you definitely need to connect with Ray on his social media, on IG, on Facebook, Ray_Abram. And then you can also go to his website at rayabram.com to get, connect with him, get on social media. So before we get to the free offer, which, I'm so excited about the free offer for you guys, but you have to wait. You have to stay until the end to get the free offer. And for those that are catching the replay, make sure you put in #replay so we know you're here. So 2 more things that I wanted to unpack, and it may intertwine, and it's up to you. So on the flyer for the promo flyer, there's that quote that says, "Attractive people are not always confident, but confident people are always attractive." There's one, but then the other thing is that I get questions from, getting questions from the viewers. I'm an introvert. I don't like talking to people. I don't know how to network. So Ray, take it away. Break it down for them.
Wow. I mean, being an introvert is real. Introverts actually make better networkers than extroverts, which is counterintuitive because most people think of introverts as, kind of being wallflowers. It's not the same thing. Introverts are better at listening. It's interesting that most people love to talk about themselves. What I would suggest to introverts when you're in public and you're at a networking event and you're feeling shy, simply ask someone that you talk to, that's interesting. Tell me more. That's interesting. Tell me more. Well, how do you do that? How did you get into that? And they'll talk all night. You never have to say a word, right? And so just simply listening to them, and believe it or not, they will love you. They will think you are the best, most interesting person in the room simply because you let them talk. So remember, the introverts are the better networkers than extroverts. But also, as you go into a room, I think a big issue that introverts have is that they don't like going up to people. They don't like ever talking to people. So what I recommend is that, don't give yourself time to get into your head. The reason you don't want to talk to someone is you've already decided that they're not going to be a good person to talk to. For whatever reason, they look like they had a bad day, or they don't look like they have any money. And so you talk yourself out of introducing yourself to anybody. And so what I do is when I walk in a room and I just say, this first person I see, I start talking to, right? And without thinking about it. So within 5 seconds, I talk to them, but I only talk to them for a few seconds, because another challenge with introverts is once you start talking to somebody, you feel comfortable and you'll stay there all night and you'll talk for an hour and a half. Make sure you limit it to a few seconds, and then, politely excuse yourself, go talk to the next first person that you see, and continue that until you've met quite a few people.
And I think you have a really great way of exiting that conversation, because sometimes it's hard, because I'm an undercover introvert. Nobody believes me, but I totally am, which is why I'm probably such a great recruiter, because I'm all about, well, tell me more about that.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Yeah.
And then you're right. We get comfortable. We don't want to move on because we're like, man, we got to start this all over again. Yes. But what's that tip that you give to say, okay, I'm concluding this and then I'm going to move on?
I'm going to walk around a little bit. Yeah, just simple. Hey, it's been great meeting you. I'm going to walk around a little bit. And that's it. And everybody will understand, because we're all at a networking event.
Right.
right? The key to networking, what's the middle of networking? Work.
Yes.
It's work. A networking event is not a party. It's not a place to go and drink and eat snacks, right? You're there to work, right? And whether your goal is to find a job or sell something, find your next opportunity, whatever it is, you're there to work, right? You've paid your money. People are charging $25, $30, $50 to go to these events.
Yeah.
Right. And for you to go and get a plate full of hors d'oeuvres and stand against the wall, don't do that. Right. Go work. And so you right. So it's really about, but you got to get out of your head. I get it. I also am a closet introvert. Nobody believes it. But that's why I'm so passionate about this.
Yeah.
I am so comfortable with my plate of hors d'oeuvres and a beer in my hand, leaning against the wall, and not talking to anybody. I am in my safe space.
Yes.
I get it. I get it.
And then after the event, we're trying to replenish our energy because we're so exhausted.
Man, I can't stay to the end of the event. You have 45 minutes. I'm out. I am out. I'm gonna go eat my snacks, drink my beer. I might talk to somebody who's standing next to me on the wall, right? And then I'm out. I don't want to be here. I'm an introvert. I get it.
Yes, yes.
However, if you want to change your life, if you want to get things that you don't have, you have to do things that you're not doing.
Preach.
Right. I need to see a comment. Somebody needs to, that was a jewel.
That was a nugget right there. You got to drop that nugget right there.
Right. But you got to do things that you haven't done. And what that is to meet people, because everything in your life comes through people. The job you have, the relationship you're in, the neighborhood you live in, the schools your kids go to. It either comes from a direct referral, somebody told you about it, somebody made it available to you, somebody gave you the money for it, right? Without people, you have nothing, right? Everything comes, and also you think about everything that you have comes to a person because it's either you were inspired by a person, they gave you money, they told you about something. So think about the fact that when you elevate the people that you're around, all of those things increase, right? When you elevate the people you're around, your jobs get better, because a conversation is different, right? Your housing gets better, your whole situation gets better. Right. When you add these intentional friends, because as you've probably heard this before, that your salary is the average of your 5 closest friends.
Okay, career happy crew. I want you to hear that because we're around here normalizing 6 figures. Say that again, Ray. That was powerful right there.
Your salary is the average of your 5 closest friends. Right? So if you want to be a millionaire, you got to have millionaire friends. If none of your friends are 6-figure friends, it's hard to get there. It makes it hard. They become what I call they have drag. There's drag. If you think about, have you ever noticed, have you ever seen a flight? Have you ever seen what do you call it? A group of birds flying? Have you ever noticed how they fly? They fly in a triangle. You know why that is?
No, why is that?
Because the bird in the front gets all the air resistance. Right? And the birds in the back don't get any resistance. The further back you are, the easier it is for you to fly. Right? But what they do is naturally the birds in the back at some point will move to the front, and the bird in the front will move to the back. So everybody shares the load, right? But if you have friends that never move to the front, right? You're
Just
always they're just dragging. They're dragging the whole crew.
mm, mm,
They're
mm, mm.
dragging the whole crew.
Wow. Ray, that is, those nuggets are so amazing. You're blowing up the chat over here. That was an entire word. So very true. Wow. Perfectly stated. Oh my goodness. I hope I was able to get all of them on the screen, because so, so, so true. And we could talk to you forever, really, because but we don't have forever. We only have an hour at Career Happy Hour. We are at the end of our. I know it goes so fast, but you have been so gracious and generous to share a free gift with our audience. So I want you to tell us, what is it that you are sharing with our Career Happy Hour crew that is special for them?
Sure. Well, I put together an ebook that's the secrets of power networking. It's just really, some high level tips and strategies so that you can become a great networker on your own. Just reading the ebook, there's so many tips and strategies. A lot of the stuff I talked about tonight is in there, and it's free. Just there's a link. I guess there it is. The link is on the screen, and just download it. It's a free download. Don't have to buy anything, but you get a lot of great nuggets that you can use to become a great networker.
So very amazing to one, to meet you, and then two, just to be able to connect with you. And you have definitely been a role model to what you preach. You know how sometimes people
Yes.
they preach, but they don't follow their own preaching. You following your preaching, and that's how we are here today, because after networking event, you followed up.
Yes.
And the fortune is in the follow-up. And it wasn't that you asked me for anything. You didn't ask me to buy anything. I didn't ask you to buy anything. But it was a genuine, hey, let's connect. How can we help each other?
Boom. There you go. That's it. That's
amazing.
That's the secret. It's following up and being genuine and offering your value and seeing how I can help you. And maybe there's a way we can help each other.
Absolutely. So please, everyone, if you do not connect with Ray on his social media, get his free ebook. I'm telling you, you slipping. You are absolutely slipping and sleeping. So I'm trying to help all of us level up to this 6-figure club, man. I'm trying to help us get there. And this is how you get there, by building your network, your community. So thank you so much, Ray, for being here and sharing all of this great insight with our crew. We have some amazing people here, and I know that those who weren't able to catch us on the live will catch us in the replay. Also on our podcast, they'll be able to get the nuggets there. So any parting words that you would like to share, I'll let you take it away before we wrap it up.
Yeah, well, like I said, again, feel free to reach out to me on my website, just rayabram.com. It's no S. I'd love to set up a call if you want to, do a 30-minute, just touch base, and I can help diagnose any particular issues that you have. I also have a book that's on Amazon.com, Connect Like a Boss. So you can grab that, and I think it's like $8, so it's not very expensive, but has really the entire program step by step on how you can become a great network and how you can learn how to connect. So that's really it. But I look forward to working with you and Lashina. Thank you again, and hopefully we can do this again. I'd love to do this.
Absolutely. I love some repeat guest co-hosts, because the one thing about our guest co-hosts is they're continuing to do, they're movers and shakers. So we're not standing still around here. So when we bring you back, you're gonna have some more excitement to bring to the table. So Thank
Amen.
you. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate you. I'm going to put you in the backstage. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. This has been amazing. I hope that you have been able to get some of these nuggets, some of this information, some of this insight maybe has shifted your mind to how you think about networking is what I hope and pray, because the networking equals your net worth. And I am here so that you are successful in increasing your net worth. We can do it. We have it inside of us, and it is about us doing it together. No one can do it alone. I'm telling you, I had an SOS call this morning to one of my business besties. I don't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Don't try to do it alone. So please make sure that you plug into this community and make sure that you're inviting others to come along on this journey and join this community with us at careerhappyhour.com, because we really do care. We really do want to make sure that you're successful, because I am absolutely obsessed with your success. And I want to normalize earning six figures by staying recruitable, visible, and profitable, all while rocking your oomph. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Same time, same place. And cheers to your amazing careers.